talked about this I also talked about this with James very briefly, but it turned into more of like a discussion about QAnon, and it was funny. But we were talking about how there's the court that said that what Ed Snowden was exposing
Oh, yes, that's right.
was
That is
illegal.
a big story.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that basically means that Ed Snowden really deserves nothing
He's been
less.
vindicated, yeah,
Yeah,
by the
like it's
courts.
nothing short of a vindication.
It's a
It
big
just really,
deal.
it's just the president needs to pardon him. And I did not know this, but apparently he legally cannot use the defense that he was doing it in the interests of the American people.
What?
Like, he can't use that argument in court.
Snowden can't?
Yeah, even though like he's being asked to be brought back for trial, like to be held on trial for treason. He cannot make the argument that he wasn't doing it with traitorous intent. He was doing it to benefit his own country.
Well, what the hell is his? What do you mean? What else would he say? Why isn't he allowed to do that?
I have no fucking idea.
That's absurd. That's Jesus Christ. What? That's like one of two options. Why would they?
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, I mean, at least, well, whatever. He's been vindicated, right?
Okay.
Court
Yeah.
found that what he did, that what he exposed was illegal.
Yeah. And if Trump managed to if someone managed to get it through Trump's head to pardon Snowden, I bet that actually would get him on the good side of some lefties who consider like that sort of
Hell,
issue like on their number one. Uh,
honestly, I kind of hope he doesn't because if he does, like in the next 2 months,
that
like
could help.
yeah, it could help him win the election.
You know what really would help him, and it could like turn him into like basically a civil rights hero in some people's eyes, as
He
crazy
could
as that
legalize
sounds.
marijuana. He could
Yes,
legalize
exactly.
marijuana. Yeah,
He could legalize it tomorrow. Someone could get into his ear and say this will definitely help your reelection chances, which
and
it
it would.
will,
It
because
would.
like
If he
it,
legalized marijuana, he would win 100%.
yeah, because like that does kind of feed into racial justice in its own way.
Absolutely.
Because like as racist as the man is, if he managed to
If
legalize
you legalize
marijuana,
marijuana, yeah, and that would, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, it would, in the eyes of the right wing, it would kneecap the BLM protests. It wouldn't actually kneecap them, just in their eyes. And it would really slow down the movement, I think.
yeah.
I think Trump is smart enough to do that, though. I don't think he will.
Well, like
But
like I said earlier, like he is very like what's the proper word for it? I can't really like he is very easily influenced by the people around him.
you know, he is. He has done a lot that has surprised me. It
Yeah,
just seems like
for
legalized
better and
marijuana
worse.
so
Yeah,
far. You know, I mean, Obama didn't legalize marijuana. I don't know. It seems really out there, but
yeah.
he is an out there person, so who knows, right? I mean, I I don't. This is the only time you'll ever hear me say this. I don't want marijuana to be legalized in the next 2 months because I don't want Donald Trump to win the election.
Oh, I think in Virginia it's only what is it? CBD oil? What is that? What is
Yeah,
that? Is that what?
it's decriminalized, so you can't
Yeah,
get arrested for it. But you know, the people who are already arrested are still arrested, still in
yeah,
prison. The CBD oil is legal, but I mean that's like nothing. Like CBD oil,
yeah. It and like Bernie said, I think he said he would either legalize marijuana through executive order on day one or within the first 100 days.
and it's easy to do.
Yeah,
It's a simple thing.
you could sign it at the inauguration ceremony.
Literally, all you have to do is take it off of the list, take it off of the Schedule One list, and then it's legal. Yeah,
It would take a lot longer for it to be regulated because that's a whole FDA process, and that can take
but we can start the
months, even
process of
years.
but we can start the process of expunging people's records, you know, who are in prison right away. Because,
Yeah,
you know, if you're caught with methamphetamine versus if you're caught with pot, the guy with meth is considered to have a safer drug than the guy who has pot under
that's
the government,
ridiculous
which is
because like
absurd.
there are some people who use pot and don't even get addicted to it, whereas meth is
Yeah,
addictive instantly. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
like it's not an addiction that you build up over time. It's it's not
100.
like
Yeah,
it's
you're
not one of
100% right.
it's definitely not one of those like recreational people who
I'm pretty sure.
who
Let me
do
just
that
double check.
take it
I'm pretty sure
recreational.
meth is a Schedule 2 drug.
Oh yeah, like it is. Like I think we established that in another episode. Where,
It
like
still just it baffles me.
yeah,
I don't want this drug. I want methamphetamine. Yeah, it sure is. It's Schedule 2 stimulant. Just I always have to look it up because it just makes zero sense that meth is a Schedule 2 drug and
yeah.
marijuana is Schedule
I
1.
think heroin is on the schedule too.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Look that up real quick. I don't want to be. I don't
Here,
want to be.
let me just pull up a list. All right, here we go. Schedule 1. Heroin is in the Schedule 1.
Okay, so I was wrong.
The
But there's certain types of opioids that aren't scheduled too.
So LSD is Schedule 1, which doesn't make a lot of sense either. Cannabis, ecstasy, peyote, something else called methaquolone. I don't know. I'll just list the ones that I've heard of. So now we're on Schedule 2. Vicodin, cocaine, methamphetamine, methadone, hydromorphone.
Cocaine is on schedule too.
Yep. Adderall and Ritalin are in Schedule 2. Same with oxycodone and fentanyl.
Even though all those drugs have killed
Weed.
infinitely more people than weed.
Yeah, this is so. It feels like Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 should just be flipped. These all seem more dangerous than the Schedule 1 drugs.
But like heroin's pretty dangerous. I think that belongs.
Yeah,
in
okay,
schedule.
like heroin and ecstasy or whatever, but like LSD, the peyote, marijuana, like I don't think those should be there. And then you have especially when you have oxycodone and fentanyl right under them, right?
Yeah, like that fentanyl is what killed Prince, I think.
Yeah, well, they cut a lot of stuff with fentanyl.
Yeah.
Let me see. And then Schedule 3 has stuff like ketamine.
What's
Ketamine
ketamine?
is Schedule 3, so is testosterone. This makes no Xanax is Schedule 4. Valium is Schedule 4. This makes I don't know who came up with this. This doesn't make any sense.
Well, like the war on drugs, it was admitted by a Nixon official basically to say they're never going to vote for the hippies and the African American community. They're never going to vote for us. So like this was basically just an attempt to get them out of the electorate.
That was what was his name? Ehrlichman? Von Ehrlichman, I think was the advisor who came out and said that.
Yeah.
For anyone who wants to look him up.
Yeah. I first learned that when I think it was like a Tom Hartman segment that was cited in the documentary 13th. I think it was one of those big. It's one of those Netflix documentaries
that might be where I
was
saw it too.
being endlessly like recommended by people who were really talking about like the Black Lives Matter movement back when it was first like revitalized back in.
Is that like 2014?
It was 2016.
2016? Okay.
Yeah. Which is interesting because that was before the era of Trump. So they're talking about that in the era of like Obama. And like how this situation hasn't improved at all under Obama. Like in like this situation in particular.
Yeah. Trump actually did do some small prison reform thing. That was good, but
well, it does a little bit to like reduce sentencing. So it's not it's good, but it literally like it's called the First Step Act, and it literally is a first step.
Yeah, it's like nothing. It's as if he just stood still.
Yeah. And
man, I mean, how many states have legal marijuana at this point? It's a lot.
It's more than half. At least
is it more than half?
It is more than half. Like that have it legalized or decriminalized in some form or another. They're only like I don't know. I mean like this was part of my government homework. Like there's a map of it that I can find real quick.
Yeah, I just found it. It looks like there are 11 where it's totally legal.
11? I thought it was a lot less than that.
11 where it's totally, so I'm gonna just, Maine, it's fully legal. Vermont, that makes sense. Massachusetts, I knew that. Michigan, Illinois, Colorado, Nevada, California, Alaska, Oregon, and Washington. Then it looks like 3, 4, 5. There are only 8 where it's totally illegal. Oh, and it's legal in DC. I almost missed that. So it's actually legal in more states where it's totally legal in more states where then, fuck, how am I gonna, I can't speak. The number of states in which marijuana is totally legal is greater than the number of states for which it's totally illegal.
Yeah, so it looks like the areas like the states and also like including DC, that in which it's totally legal is Alaska, Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada.
Are you on the DISA.com?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
that's where I am.
Colorado, Illinois, Michigan, and then Vermont, Massachusetts, and Maine. Vermont is always the head of the curve with this one,
Yeah, Vermont is.
with a whole lot of issues, actually.
Then Virginia, damn, it's decriminalized and only CBD oil is legal for medicinal purposes, which is weird because I feel like I've totally bought CBD oil for non-medicinal purposes, but whatever.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, like when there's still like no enforcement at all with that kind of thing, from what I've observed. And then and then the states that have it completely illegalized is Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota,
I'm like following
Kansas,
you to do this.
Texas,
It
Alabama.
says it's mixed.
Huh?
Where I'm looking, it says that it
Kansas?
CBD oil. No, in Texas.
Okay, I meant to say Kansas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I might have misheard you.
South Carolina, which is weird because I'm 100% sure I saw a dispensary when I was at Myrtle Beach. And then there's like Tennessee and Alabama.
Yeah, that makes okay.
And then, I don't know, Wisconsin looks a little bit of a different shade than the other states, like a different color shade than the other states. Yeah, Wisconsin, it's fully illegal.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's kind of spread out. I don't know.
Yeah, and Colorado, I think, was the first.
It was. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're getting there very slowly. Virginia's quite behind.
What was that Bill Maher joke? It's like they keep telling me it's like, oh, like one state legalized it, it's gonna follow like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes. Let's order Domino's. I don't know. Is that like the stereotypical?
Oh, I've eaten a lot of Domino's. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it's good pizza basically,
I mean,
Like-
Domino's is okay.
and you don't have to like walk into a store while high.
Better than Little Caesars.
I've never had Little Caesars. I don't think. Maybe
I mean,
have.
it is quick and convenient, like they say it is, but I mean, the pizza is not terrific. It's okay.
Okay, I like Domino's. I think it tastes good.
Yeah, my favorite pizza of all time is End Zone.
I feel like I
It's
can't
in
think of
Forest
it.
Lakes.
I had it. I feel like
It's-
I've had some. So.
Yeah, it's on the same strip of building as the Food Lion in Forest Lakes.
I just can't picture what the pizza looks like, but I'm pretty sure I've had it. Maybe just once.
It's pretty flat. Like the pizza itself is pretty flat, but like the crust is like pretty high. And like they
Okay.
have like and their pizza's also
I feel
pretty
like
big as well.
Yeah, I mean that sounds good. I feel like I mean I definitely remember the name Ensign, so I think I did eat there. But
Yeah.
now we've gotten off topic. It's funny, we're talking about weed. We just start talking about pizza.
Yeah, like I don't hold on. Yeah, like I've been like messaging like the president of Barstool Sports constantly said like because he does all these pizza reviews on his Instagram. And saying like come to Charlottesville and review End Zone. You will be blown away. Most of the pizzas he reviews mostly in New York. Which is fair enough. New York has got
They
some
have
damn
good
good
pizza in New York, yeah.
But yeah.
New York's the place to be for pizza, from what I hear.
Yeah. Chicago deep dish pizza is not even like pizza in the traditional sense.
Oh damn, weed isn't legal in New York.
It's
That's
illegal
sad.
in New York.
It
seems
isn't
like that
legal.
It isn't illegal.
Well, it's mixed. It's legal medicinally and it's decriminalized, but it's not legalized.
I can't imagine it being fully illegal in New York
It's not.
because, yeah, like I couldn't imagine it being fully illegal there. It seems like all of the states in which it has like the big giant cities, like Nevada, like with Vegas, L.A.,
Mhm.
Chicago. Like it's hard to imagine all of those places without at least decriminalizing
So,
weed.
and then the closest, like the Virginia doesn't have a huge city like that, but we have DC really close by, and then it was legalized in DC, but it has no effect on Virginia.